By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. And no, I don't mean Macbeth, that mythical lord of the Scots. I mean the Kawasaki Z900RS, the descendant of that glorious true king of the open road once upon a time. The 1974 Kawasaki Z900 Superbike. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I hope life's treating you all well. This video is a cautionary tale of what to do and not to do as a motorcyclist, especially if you are a new rider. I will begin with an admission. By buying the Z900RS, I bit more than I could chew. Not in terms of power, but rather in terms of wildness. The bike tempts you, it goads and prods you. The sound of its exhaust is as enchantingly dangerous as that of the sirens from the Greek mythology, luring you to a definite shipwreck. And here, ladies and gents, right on this corner, right here, the Z900RS and I met our end. Well, to put it in less dramatical terms, it's here we parted ways, and it was here that we broke off our relationship. One rainy evening in late April of this year, it was here on this corner that the experienced rider met the rookie in me. It was near dusk and a light rain had started falling. I was on my Z900RS returning home from one of my usual afternoon rides when, as I entered this corner, my rear wheel lost traction, causing the bike to violently fishtail and then crash. It all happened very fast, allowing for zero reaction time. Now, the Z900RS had traction control, and when the rain started, I set it in mode 2, which according to the manual is the optimal setting when riding in rain. So what went wrong? Here are the facts. It had just started to rain lightly, and as it's well known among us riders, light rain is a dangerous rain. 2. I have ridden on this road a lot of times in all conditions with my previous bike, so this road was not new to me. 3. Traction control, as I mentioned earlier, was set in mode 2, which is the optimal setting for riding in rain. 4. Tires were in superb condition, having about 1,500 miles in them. 5. I was in third gear going about 25 to 30 miles per hour, and as I entered the curve, I eased on the throttle, pulled in the clutch, and prepared to shift down. Now, try as I might, I cannot recall if I squeezed the front brake level lightly or if I applied pressure on the rear brake. I simply cannot recall. But I also leaned a bit, and it was at this moment when I leaned that the rear tire slipped and sent me and the bike crashing, allowing for zero response time. I do not recall this, but I wonder if when I pulled the brake lever, I also rolled just a bit on the throttle. The Z900RS has the most sensitive twitchy throttle I have ever experienced on the bike. In fact, it is because of the twitchy, extremely sensitive throttle that I had put the bike on the market the week prior to my accident. The bike did not feel right to me. It felt dangerous. Of course, this is not to say that the Z900RS is a bad bike. Actually, you will have a hard time finding anything negative about this bike. But it just felt like bad news for me. 6. The crash left me with more questions than answers. I have been riding for almost 7 years now, and I have ridden all year round in all conditions, and I have never experienced such a thing. Based on the knowledge I have acquired over 7 years of riding, I believe that this crash should never have happened. It just does not make sense to me still to this day. Everything I know about riding tells me it should not have happened. The simple answer is this. The wet road, combined with other road imperfections such as a broken surface, makes for a fantastic cocktail of a high side crash. So this might be the simple answer to this accident. After my accident, I looked up if other Z900RS riders have had such issues with the rear wheel slipping, and it seems that there are a few who have had an issue with the rear wheel slipping at street speeds. So I'm not quite sure if this is typical to motorcycles of this nature or just limited to the Z900RS. So if you are an owner of Z900RS and have experienced such issues, please, share them here with me and other fellow riders. Lastly, the last fact. Well, this is not really a fact, but anyhow, if you guys have any theories as to what might have caused the rear wheel to slip at such low speed, then please feel free to leave your feedback in the comment section. Like all bad experiences in our lives, this one also came with many silver linings. That is, it came with many lessons. The first lesson is always wear your gear and expect the unexpected. I walked away from the crash with a few road rashes and minor bruises, unless of course you count my ego, which suffered the greatest bruise. For a while there, my confidence was really shattered, and even today, every time I take a curve, I'm extra cautious and a bit weary of danger. I keep thinking too much of the crash. Number 2, don't ever buy a bike with a twitchy throttle and more muscle than you can handle. Those two are a terrible combination. I was aware of this issue from before buying the bike. That is, I knew that the bike had the twitchy throttle issue. But I also read that this issue could be managed. But in this case, I wish I had really considered that seriously before buying. Now, the third lesson I learned is this. Never put your trust on the tech. Don't trust the ABS or traction control. They instill a false sense of security and will cause you to let your guard down just when you need it the most. ABS, traction control, they were absolutely useless and ineffective in helping prevent the slip and eventual crash of my bike. I just felt like they helped. In fact, of course, it would be irrational of me to think this, but I do think they even got in the way. The traction control was set in mode 2, which according to the manual is the optimal setting when riding in rain. They gave me a false sense of security, and I should never have relied on them. Now, this is, again, this is not to say that you're better off without them, even though I know there are plenty of fellow riders out there who feel very strongly against them. I do still believe that if you're buying a bike and you have a choice, it's better to have them. But do not depend on them. Ride the bike as if the bike didn't have them. You see, I forgot that, and this accident really reminded me to always be on my guard. The fourth lesson I learned is, well, practice with negotiating corners in normal conditions as well as in all riding weather conditions. Practice. And the best way to do that is to assess your riding daily, your riding ability daily. Figure out the areas where you're doing well and the ones where you are always struggling. At least this is what I am going to continuously do. Work on the ones you're struggling with. Now, I always felt a bit uneasy about negotiating curves, And even though I practiced, and even though I have done this curve at least 50 or 100 times, I still landed on my ass. So I guess I have to continue practicing, and I have to continue studying some more. Learning never ends, huh? Number 5. If the bike you buy makes you feel constantly uneasy while driving it, then part ways with it ASAP. Give it up. Sell the damn thing, no matter how good it looks. I immediately, honestly, a month, I didn't have the bike for more than a couple of months, and I put it on the market because it kept making me, I probably should have put it on the market a long time before I did, because it made me uneasy every time. It did. That twitchy throttle, it made me feel like I was not in control of the bike 100% of the time, and I need to be in control of the bike, or feel in control of the bike, you know, 100% of the time, when possible, of course. But riding the Z900RS, I just simply didn't feel the twitchy throttle. It just made me very, very nervous. It would lurch forward quite violently at the slightest motion, like downward motion. The slightest, it just felt like no matter which way I moved that throttle, the bike lurched forward. And I've never have experienced such a thing before. So I definitely put that on the market. But of course, it was too late. And this, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of this video. This channel was designed to help other fellow bikers or those thinking of joining our community. So please feel free to leave a comment and or feedback if you think that it might be helpful to someone. You may also subscribe if you enjoyed the video and would like to hear from me again. My next video will focus on my new bike, the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, and how I almost got rid of this one too. Hope to see you soon. Alright, be well and always ride safely. Bye.